Good day to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and this episode is still devoted to books because here with me is John Lynch, an author and also an entrepreneur. Thank you again for coming to us from Krakow.
You're welcome, Maria. It's great to be with you.
And except the fact that you are a newly born author, you also experienced entrepreneur of a company producing shirts and clothing, which is kind of connected to the book. So anyone who will read your book can kind of find a similarity. But I can imagine you came back to Poland like 30 years ago, and it was still the capitalism in its infancy in Poland. And how was it to start a company here and to co-work, to co-work with Polish people, to try to produce things here, especially in Krakow as well, not in Warsaw? Interesting. Tell us more about it.
Sure. Well, the first thing is any students of business know that startups have a huge percentage of failure. So it's 1 out of 100 businesses succeed, 99 fail. And if you do it in another country, in an emerging market like Poland, where you don't speak the language, probably the odds are like 1 out of 1,000. So it was a lot of perseverance and hard work to make this thing happen. But we started very humble. It was 3 people in an apartment with an idea for a business and started with almost no money. So we did not come as rich Americans with millions. We came as recent graduates of school, of business school, and started the idea to do these tourism T-shirts. So the business was humbly humming along. I was probably the lowest paid graduate of the top business school in America in history, because I came over here working for 3 million stare złoty, so $200, and then decided to start a business, and the adventure began.
Well, that's actually funny what you say. That, I can imagine a lot of your colleagues were trying to chase positions in American business groups, but trying in a new market like a Polish market is a challenge. So what make your company was a trigger to make it successful, except of course your hard work?
Yes, no, I think all business success has some element of luck. In our particular case, we were making these tourism T-shirts, Krakow, Poland, etc. English language newspaper, the Warsaw Voice, ran an article about us, a little article about these 2 crazy Americans in Krakow making tourism T-shirts. And they gave it out on locked Polish airlines. And one of the executives in business class got his Warsaw Voice, started looking at it, saw the article about these Americans, and he was just coming to launch a new brewery in Poland. It was called El Brewery, EB, and they wanted to do a big advertising campaign. So he gave the paper to the marketing director and said, call these people. And we got an order from this brewery. And in the first 6 months of Linka, we probably produced 3,000 T-shirts total, selling these little tourism T-shirts. And the brewery ordered 8,000 in one order. And it just launched us into a different level. And then the business just took off after that. So that was our luck.
Well, that's good that someone read it. It's the power of writing, actually.
Yes.
Information as well.
Information.
Good to hear. That's interesting. And so what happened else? Because as I understand, some of the elements from the book is also connected to your personal story. Well, of course, I mean, not to go to super details, but if you could scratch through it.
Yeah. So what had happened to me, and what was the seed that was planted to write a book, was something happened to me with my business where I've had many shareholders over the years. And years ago, one of the private equity funds just kind of decided they wanted to come take a little piece of Linka. And I got into this legal battle. At one point, I was in the United States and I got a phone call, John, you no longer own your business. And there's something in Poland called the KRS, the Krajowy Rejestr Sądowy. And I went online and checked, and there it was. I'm no longer owner of my company. So I then went into this legal battle to win my business back, and I ended up winning it back. And afterwards, I thought, that's a great story to tell, actually, but not my story, but this story about this young American fashion designer who comes over, and the same thing happens to him, which is an investor comes along and tries to steal his company, and it's a modern-day David versus Goliath. So little David entrepreneur, 28 years old, against this billion-dollar global fund trying to win his company back. And that's the key of the story.
Isn't that also, I would say, the element of our times right now? Because there are big monopolies who are going like bigger and bigger and bigger, and there are smaller companies who are a little bit struggling just to survive or to be on the market. And but that's the idea of free market is that everyone can kind of get involved and be in it somewhere, not only.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of all entrepreneurialism, and as a matter of fact, pretty much every corporation started as either a kid in the college dorm room or a couple guys in the garage. So I've got nothing against corporations. I worked for Procter & Gamble myself. I'm a part of the American Chamber of Commerce, where we have lots of American corporations. But I'm a really strong advocate of anybody brave enough to take the plunge and become an entrepreneur, because that's where wealth is created, that's where jobs are created, and it's the most satisfying thing. And I think it's the most honorable career a person could pursue, is to do something of their own and create from nothing, because it's a pure creative activity, like writing a book.
Exactly, like writing a book as well. You put something in the world which was not there before, and as long as it serves people as well, and they want to buy the products or buy the book.
Yes.
That's, I would say, because we've talked about it, but the book is a little bit about us as well, about his perseverance of Truman, of this fact that he wants to build something, he wants to produce a good quality clothes, which are not super expensive, but also pretty, and and out there, and in Poland, where, of course, the case of clothing was hard.
Yes.
Because in the 90s, and we know this from Polish designers, it was just very few shops.
Yeah. One of the lines I wrote that I loved the most was young Truman, when he started making clothing and making dresses, he said he felt he wasn't only making the women who wore them more beautiful, he was making the world itself more beautiful. And I think that's what good fashion does. It doesn't just make the people beautiful, it makes the world more beautiful.
And we definitely can see this for like 30 years right now in Poland. We are not gray anymore, we're colorful, and we have many success businesses. One of them is Linka, and a lot of this is described in the book, The Arc. Of course, a novel, but I would say the element, the idea behind it of creating a business is there. And if you are inspired, or you want to feel, or you're in the same situation, and you want to part and read, then go buy it, read it, and I'm sure that John Lynch, if you write to him, will answer many of your questions. And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.